Join us for a deep dive into the controversial case of Jayden Baez's tragic death as we unpack the grand jury's scathing report on law enforcement actions in response to a pizza and Pokemon shoplifting incident.
A grand jury report criticizes Osceola County deputies' tactics in the fatal shooting of Jayden Baez over a minor shoplifting incident, citing flawed judgment and inadequate training. The report, while clearing the deputies of criminal charges, calls attention to policy failures and recommends reforms. Let's go. What say you, Joel?
Well, the report announced by the Orange County Osceola State Attorney Andrew Bain, it absolutely slams the deputies' tactics in the minutes that led up to the shooting. So, um, kudos again to our new state attorney here in Orange Osceola County for actually doing this deep dive. But even though these officers will not be charged because they didn't break the law, they did sloppy, inadequate, and rush to judgment actions. This individual should not be dead today. And I think the grand jury, if you don't know a grand jury can be led straight to the path that's wanted. But I think by reading this, the grand jury decided that it was in the best interest of our community to heal by not charging the officers and allowing the sheriff, who is at this moment looking pretty inept in the abilities that he has down there, he needs to really look at what he's doing. I mean, let's not even go into the fact that he's now taking pictures of dead bodies and having to apologize for them. That's just one more added issue that Osceola citizens have to deal with. And you can unpack that, David, because what you just offered us for today's conversation is something we should be all talking about in Osceola County, in Orange County, in Seminole County. I'm proud of the sheriff we have up here. However,
Yes.
we do have to look, we still have to look at the fact that there are issues in each one of our departments.
Sure. And, you brought up a good point about Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez and the incident in the Soto case where he accidentally, um, I guess, put on the internet allegedly the dead body of the young girl who was murdered allegedly by her mother's boyfriend, but also allegedly endured years of abuse by the same man. And, this incident with Baez happened several months ago. The grand jury addressed this matter some time ago. However, it just complicates what's going on in the leadership of the Osceola Sheriff's Office. In regards to this particular case, Baez, the Sheriff's Office, let's give them their due, they did reform their policy. They implemented policy language, and this was reported by the Orlando Sentinel, that addressed many of the areas the grand jury faulted for Baez's death. It added rules for the use of tactical vehicle takedowns, restricting their use to felonies, and requiring training before a deputy can perform them. So the new policy also orders deputies to remain in their vehicles during the takedown until compliance is obtained. New policies also transform department practice on shooting into moving vehicles, prohibiting deputies from stepping in the path of a fleeing vehicle, such as what happened in the Baez situation. So, kudos to the sheriff for implementing the changes and getting ahead of this. However, unfortunately, the sheriff should have also been at the grand jury and testified. The sheriff declined despite being invited to speak and instead decided to send representatives to testify on his behalf, which the grand jury rejected. I've been in and out of court many times, not for criminal activity or anything like that, but part of my work duties, job description in Illinois. So I know how the courts work. I know how a grand jury works, and it's very important, grave importance to for a grand jury to hear as much evidence and as much of the story of the incident as possible. And it's unfortunate that Sheriff Lopez did not go to the grand jury when invited to speak. It's disappointing.
So I get to be the Republican here and speak freely because it's not like I'm going to get any work from the Lopez campaign. And full disclosure, I'm not even seeking it anymore. I've actually reached out to him when he had opportunities. But look,
Hmm.
I was in law enforcement. This is he.
Yep.
The fact that he did not go to the grand jury, kudos to him because he says stupid shit all the time. I'm sorry, he's just not that. In public relations, we would say, look, your sheriff is supposed to be your spokesperson, and we have an issue down in Osceola County. Here is an
Correct.
individual who has made blunders on his speech. He needs a communication team out there, and that's what he tried to do. He tried to put a communication team into the grand jury so they could speak for him because he knows he doesn't cut it when he's trying to explain this stuff. The Osceola County Sheriff's Department is a reflection of their sheriff. Shoot first, ask questions later. This was a misdemeanor. And for me, you write a ticket and you let them go. That's what's going to happen to this person when caught. They don't end up dead. And that's an issue that Osceola, no matter what they've implemented now, should have never allowed happen. So I apologize to the men in green down there, and that I say this stuff, but as a former law enforcement officer, I'm disappointed in the amount of force and the amount of intellectual, intellect that was used in this situation.
Right. I agree with you on many of your points there, Joel. And also, what was disheartening, and this is where we get into the touchy feely part of this, the emotional part, the empathy part, is that my understanding that the sheriff failed to, console the family, to address their heartbreak for losing their son, and that's hard to take. That's really hard to take. I've watched families, mothers, hold their child while their child has died in their arms. In the position, in my official position in Illinois, and you know these are the times where your citizens, your residents, the people who put you into office or did not, need to know that it's more than just about business. It's about an understanding when to show some empathy towards a grieving parent, a grieving family. And, you know, in full disclosure, Jay Washington is managing the campaign of Amaryllis Rivera for Osceola County Sheriff. So I just want to put that out there. Regardless, there's protocol which the sheriff has now addressed, and then there's also the public relations of being the sheriff. And I think we could say, there's room to do better, much better, and not because you're in front of the, television cameras, or you want to delegate the responsibility to someone else, or it's reelection time. Being sheriff is tough. I'm sure it is, but there's even more scrutiny than the average job.
Well, I remember reading the article, and I think what stood out to me is when they say most deputies in Osceola Department have been equipped with the body cameras since the agency first purchased them in 2018, but many in so-called specialized units don't have them. I would think it's more important that the specialized units, what they're actually doing with tactical takedowns and doors and stuff like that.
Right.
I think they might have this backwards. So my final word is, look, I want Osceola County to look at their election. I want Osceola citizens to support your law enforcement and give them your heart and your soul so that they'll do a better job. Because if they feel safe, then you'll feel safe.
I agree with you. My final word is that the case highlights the urgent need for comprehensive police reform, emphasizing the importance of proper training, transparent accountability, and community centered policing to prevent future tragedies like Jayden Baez's untimely death. Um, we can always improve and do better.
Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Please like, share, and just be part of our community. Be aware that we're getting ready to celebrate our anniversary on
That's right.
April 20th, and
Woo.
we're glad to be part of the community. So please help us grow in this community. We're excited to bring the more of you that are involved, the more voices you can hear, the more people that will come out and address these things with you. So please comment, share, and go on Barnes or wherever you buy your book and look for Presidential Chronicles by Joel Huxley, my first actual poetry book. You'll be really excited. I mean, you may want to use it to line the kitty litter box afterward. No, it's too good for the kitty litter box, but I just had to say that because everybody knows Joel can't get away without a little sarcasm every once in a while.
And this is where the political innovation comes into play. Joel's book, Presidential Chronicles, putting out, some quality, literature out there. Pick up your book. It's available, in stores, digitally, and we're always innovating.
Yeah,
So as
you want the quick copy on an ebook and save yourself some money, you can get that on Amazon right now. Just look up Presidential Chronicles, Joel Huxley on any of your browsers, and it will bring up the print copy, or you can get the e-copy. But please read it. Tell me what you think, because there's going to be a whole lot more coming out.
Yep, indeed. And tell us what you think about this particular episode. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Bring your facts, not your
Not
feelings.
your feelings.
Thank you, everyone.